Welcome to Sick Flicks. My name is Mike.
My name's Dalton.
And you are listening to this show where we talk about movies and we choose a movie, one, and then once every month we come on Radio Western 94.9, and Dalton and I, we discuss it.
We talk about how sick it is.
We talk about how very much we love whatever movie we've chosen, because we're not going to choose something that's not sick, dude.
No.
It's
like the one rule on this show.
The only rule.
It can't. Yeah. If it's not sick, we don't do it.
That's right. So once a month, that's the third Wednesday of the month, will air on Radio Western. And then you can download the episode the following day. And yeah, it's I don't know, pretty sick, right?
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for that has been listening and downloading and messaging us about Sick Flicks. If you're wondering, we actually do an uncensored version of the show where we talk about two other movies.
Yes. It's a double feature instead of just the one.
That's right. So that airs on the Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday. We drop it on the Thursday.
Only on podcast platforms.
That's right.
Not on the radio.
Once a month, though.
Yes, once a month.
Once a month. If you're listening to this, go check that out. We're doing a little bit of a baseball theme month here on Sick Flicks.
Yeah, except for this one. This one has nothing to do with baseball. But
has nothing to do with baseball.
No, but it is sick.
It is very sick.
That's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. So that will be Moneyball and The Fan. So if you want to check out that uncensored version, go over to our wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, on Thursday, I believe it's 9 a.m. it comes out.
Yeah, I usually drop it at 9 a.m. So go have a listen. And then, but today
Yes.
we have some very important business to take care of because, there's a lot of shows out there, a lot of movie, radio shows, and podcasts and stuff. And, there could be a lot, like a 200, 300, 400 movies that we could choose.
Yeah.
That people would be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, oh, yeah, talk about Pulp Fiction. Like, there's the chances of us doing Pulp Fiction
we're not gonna
on
do
the
it.
show.
We're not going to do it.
Like, very.
Not that it's not sick. It's
that's
just,
right.
We don't want to talk about it.
No, because there's many other radio shows that talk about those kind of big movies, and sometimes we'll, like we've talked about One Battle. We'll do some like bigger stuff sometimes.
Yeah, when we feel like we need a little boost in the numbers,
we'll
do a more popular movie.
Exactly. We think we might need like 2 or 3 new listeners. So we might drop a bigger title. This month, however, is not one of those big titles.
No.
And it might not even be a movie that a lot of people are even aware of.
I hope you are.
Me too. But I know from just talking to some people and I've recommended this movie a lot.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of people don't know what it is. So without further
I will say before you do that.
Okay, yeah.
Anytime I mention this movie to somebody who has seen it, they all go, "Oh, that movie's so sick."
It is.
So. It fits right at home on this show.
Absolutely, it does. The movie that we're talking about today is a movie called Phone Booth.
Yes, Joel Schumacher's Phone Booth.
Now, this movie is definitely one of those, as I was saying, underrated, I would say, underseen from the early 2000s. And, the setup, I guess, here is like, this is kind of, we're about 10 or so years into the internet, I guess. I would say about 5 into like sort of as we're like, emails are coming out. I remember I got my first email in 99. Mm-hmm. So, there's some kind of messaging systems out there, MSNs and ICQs. Things are still pretty sluggish out there. There's a lot of dial-up still, but there's no, like, we're 10 years away from smartphones,
and
right?
There's still phone booths.
And there's still phone booths, right? So that's kind of where I was going, is that, there's, like, smartphones are not a thing yet. People are still using phone booths. And if you don't know what a phone booth is, it was a public telephone in which you could put in a quarter or whatever it is.
A couple quarters if it's a long call.
Exactly.
You could call collect.
You can call collect, which I did. I personally have done many times.
I've done it. Yeah.
And you get to leave this little like, hey, it's Mike calling, please pick up, and then the other person on the line.
You have to pay for it.
Yeah, you have to pay for it. When I was a student living away from home when I was 14, I would call collect at times back home. Because I didn't have a cell phone, it was 99 in 2000, so so I've used phone booths before, but they
not like this though.
Not like this. And this is where this movie gets interesting. It's called Phone Booth, which is I think it's
an apt title.
Very apt title. I think it totally works for what this movie is. The one thing I'll ask you this. So you were 5-6 years old when this movie came out, right?
I was 7.
7.
Yeah.
So it's probably not on your radar, right?
Yeah. I mean, but I had here's the thing.
You're watching. You got your.
I don't know. No, I was watching.
You got your Toy Stories out there.
You
got your.
Yeah. Thing was, I had an older brother.
Yeah.
He was 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
And like he's throwing on whatever.
So where I was going with this is like when did this movie come onto your radar? When was the first time you saw it? Was it sick right away?
It was sick right away, definitely. I wasn't 7 when I saw it. But I was probably like 10.
Yeah.
VHS from Blockbuster.
Absolutely.
And I thought it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It was where I still remember it. It's how I learned rubber bullets exist. Was watching Phone Booth.
That's amazing.
It blew my mind. I was like, "Oh my! You could do that? That's a thing."
That's a thing. Yeah.
It was huge for me when I was younger. That's why we have definitely had this conversation a few times about doing Phone Booth, and I'm just like, it's got at least at some point we got to do this movie. So.
I mean, similarly, I was a little older, obviously, but like this was like rental staple.
Yeah.
This was one of those. I didn't see it in theater, but it definitely was a rental staple for sure. Sorry. Just some technical. We had to move some things around the studio here. Yeah. This definitely was a rental staple. Definitely rented multiple times. One of the things that stands out before we get into what the actual movie is about. But one of the things that stands out, obviously, I think, especially in today's day and age, this movie's come like humming in at 81 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like 81 minutes.
Yep.
And it's not too long. It's
it's 81 minutes.
And it's not too short.
No.
It's the perfect runtime for this movie. I did clock, which I hadn't done before, so that on this rewatch, I clocked when he actually gets into the phone booth or gets to the phone booth.
The little time check.
Little time check. 9 minutes into the film.
Yeah.
That's including like opening credits, like opening like logos, the whole 9 yards.
Stuff in space.
Yeah, stuff in space. Yeah, exactly. It's 9 minutes, right? So you're 72 minutes essentially
in a phone booth.
In a phone booth, and
I would say there's like 4 minutes at the end where he's not in a phone booth.
But they're like really close to the
phone. They're still really close.
Yeah,
they're in the vicinity of the phone booth.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I wanted to be sort of put it out to the listeners out there, that this movie is like one of those like guy in a room or a couple people in a room type films. Both of us been to film school before.
Yeah.
And I just thought this would be a really interesting sort of precursor before we get into like the sick things about this film. But and this actually is one of the sick things about this movie, but in my opinion. But we've both had to do things inside of film school where we're pitching projects and you're trying to think of ideas or
trying to think of clever ideas for cheap,
right? And this movie is like one of the most perfectly executed versions of this, and it is such a good idea and premise where all it is it's a guy that gets put into a position where he can't leave.
He can't hang up the phone.
And he can't hang up the phone.
Or else he'll get shot.
That's right.
By a sniper.
And that's it. That's the setup to the film.
Yep.
And I think it's a really clever way of how they wrote themselves out of certain
it's a perfect framing
corners.
Device for everything.
Absolutely. Like, there could have been, in the wrong hands, script-wise or directing-wise, this could have kind of went awry as to no, we got to go out of the phone. Like, once we're in there, no,
you don't.
No, like, it's literally like that one location for most of the movie.
It's jarring when you get when he calls Katie Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you see her apart. It's, jarring.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, why am I somewhere else now?
Somewhere else, yeah.
Or when they cut to the police.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm supposed to be in this phone booth.
Yeah.
We feel as the audience, we need to be here because there's danger if you're out of it.
If you're going outside of it.
Yeah.
So why I wanted to bring that up is because there's an example, maybe a more popular example of this that comes out a couple years later. Now, famously, if you listen to the show, you'll know that Dalton's maybe not the biggest horror fan, right? You've watched horror films,
watched a lot of them, yeah.
But you're not the biggest horror fan. You wouldn't call yourself
No.
But there is a couple of, we'll say, films and franchises that you and I both connect on.
Absolutely.
In the horror space. And one of those franchises is a franchise called Saw.
Saw, yeah.
And Saw comes out a couple years later and essentially is exactly the same as this movie.
What year was Saw? Isn't it
four?
the same? Isn't that when Phone Booth came out?
I think Phone Booth was 2002.
Oh. Shows what I know.
Yeah. So this is super good radio.
It's great radio.
Me making sure that I have yeah. So Saw was 2004.
Yeah.
Which is correct, and Phone Booth is Phone Booth. This is this is so interesting.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a movie I just saw. Okay. Phone Booth is 2002. See?
Okay.
So
I just don't know anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's okay. I did want. I know it's we're joking about it. It's not interesting, but I do. I hate when I get something wrong like that. So
and then it's
I did the research.
On the radio. It's on the internet forever.
That's right. So I did. We both have notes. We're not checking them right now. So I wanted to make sure.
No,
that,
we only Google things. We don't check our notes on this show.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. But so you have this. So Saw. The premise of Saw, if you haven't seen this movie, is there's two guys in a room, and you don't know why they're there, and they have to figure out why they're there, and then there's someone that has put them there, and there's a dead body in the room. Spoiler alert: the dead body wakes up, and that's the killer.
Yes.
Fantastic. Again, film school.
Yes.
It's like what every film school kid dreams of is like thinking of an idea and a twist like that,
and enough to spawn 10 movies.
That's right. And the execution is quite good in the first Saw movie, to the point where it makes all this money and spawns this whole franchise. But so if you look at what Saw is and what Phone Booth is doing, it's essentially the same movie in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. You instead of two guys, you have one guy, right? So that's a little bit different. It's not in a room, but it's in a phone booth, so there is a public
and the
situation.
Sniper is kind of like Jigsaw.
The sniper is like Jigsaw. Actually, the sniper is almost identical to
yes.
Jigsaw, in the sense of you find out as the movie goes on that he's done this multiple times, and it's two bad people. So he'll pick out a certain person that he thinks is morally corrupt in some way, and he puts them through this quote unquote test of sticking them in a space or and saying you have to figure things out, you have to come clean, you have to be truthful, honest, all this kind of stuff. Which is essentially what Jigsaw does.
Yes.
So I wanted to bring that up because I saw a lot of parallels.
It's such a great comparison. I hadn't thought about that.
It was just on my mind the whole time when watching this movie, and I just think there's a lot of parallels to now. The parallels, obviously, they're we've talked through a couple of them, but Saw is very much a genre picture. It's a horror picture where Phone Booth is maybe a little bit more on the thriller, dramatic side.
Yeah. It even feels like, despite it's someone being on the phone the whole movie, it feels like an action movie.
Absolutely. I was going to say there is an action element to this too. So I just think the way that this film is executed with this kind of, I will say like I don't know if you want to. It's not like a lower. It's a premise that, like I said, that a film kid would dream of. It's just very simple.
Yeah,
and they don't go too convoluted with it, right?
No,
there's a couple of great twists, which we'll get to when we talk more about like what's sick about the movie, and what happens in the film, scenes in the film. But I just think the execution is so great because it's complicated enough that it keeps you engaged, but it's not convoluted. It's not like they're gonna take you out to this whole thing and it's this big conspiracy, blah blah blah. It's very simple, and I just think like it's such a smart way of shooting a film, editing a film, writing a film, like and in terms of box office, I don't know if you did this, looked at this, but it was reported around a $13 million budget.
Okay,
and I would say a lot of that's going to go to like the location of the film and the cast.
And there's kind of unnecessary extreme CGI at the beginning and the end of the movie.
Yeah, for sure. But I would say that probably a lot of that money is going to cast and locations and stuff. Yeah. But that's a relatively small budget, right? That
especially for Schumacher.
That's right. You're in the $1 to $15 million horror type budget, right? Where that if you can be inside of there, and actually what's interesting is rom-coms used to be inside of that budget too. So the dream for any studio would be to like make a $15 million movie and for it to make 100 or 150 million bucks. That's the dream.
Easy money, yeah.
This movie worldwide made $97 million.
Perfect.
And I mean, if we've talked about it a lot on both like versions of the show, uncensored and non-uncensored, on the radio, not. But the idea of like a double, we'll get to baseball obviously later. Yeah. But the idea of a double, this is like I would say it's verging on a triple even. But like this is like throw it on a Saturday afternoon. It's a little rainy out today. Yeah. This is like the perfect day to just you throw on Phone Booth while you're eating lunch. You get wrapped up.
It's less than an hour and a half.
That's right. And you get wrapped up into it, and you're like, man, that was so much fun. It's such a that was such a fun experience watching that film. I was engaged the whole time. It's also quite rewatchable as well.
Very rewatchable.
I've revisited this film a couple of times. This was like. My sister and I actually would talk about this movie a lot, and we when I lived with my sister for a little while, we revisited this movie a couple times, and it was one of like the ones on the list of like, hey, you wanna toss on Phone Booth?
Phone Booth tonight?
You want to rip Phone Booth? So, but yeah, it is quite rewatchable, and yeah, I just think this movie is just. I kept thinking about the Saw parallel and the film school like premise. I did because like I mean, how many times did you be like, oh, I gotta pitch this short, I gotta pitch this, and Saw is a perfect guy. I mean, that's kind of where it started. It's like it's this perfect kind of premise of like a short film that like if executed properly
expanded
into like 90 minutes and it works. It's smart, and this is like a great example of that as well. Is like it's just such a great concept for a film as long as it's executed. And I think also the cast has a lot to do with it too.
Well, you get like there's heavy hitters in this, and I mean Saw has heavy hitters too.
Yeah.
But like this one is and like. In their prime,
I was gonna say. Well, I would say even before their prime.
Yeah,
like or on the way up. Like I meant like the Colin Farrell, the Katie Holmes.
What
like
about Kiefer though.
Kiefer is like. I mean, if you want to talk about smart casting, okay. He has. First of all, you don't see Kiefer Sutherland. He's in the movie. He's the bad guy. You only hear him.
No, you see him for a second.
You see him at the end.
Yeah.
Right, and he's in the end. It was probably a half a day shoot.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And he is in most of the movie.
Yeah.
But you never see him
because he's in a studio like this.
He's in a studio like this recording it, and he like the way
his voice is so good. It's perfect.
It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect, and you're engaged because you know it's Kiefer Sutherland. So like, I mean, it's smart stunt casting, to get someone like that, and then.
You don't have to show him at all.
Don't have to show him. It's a half a day. He comes on set for
probably
half a day.
Saves a lot of money paying him too.
Lot of money. So and then you get to put his name on the marquee.
You know who I was thinking of watching this movie who would also be perfect for that role at this time. Everybody at this time,
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a Kevin Spacey role if I ever
Yes, absolutely. That's a kind of a good call actually.
Yeah.
Kind of 7 years
because
after.
he's got the voice too, you know.
Yeah,
it's
and he's played bad guys before. He's played bad guy in Seven, bad guy.
I
in
immediately
Usual Suspects.
Yeah, I
so.
immediately thought of both of those movies, him like narrate or you hear his voice and all that. It just feels like
it's cool.
The same sort of role.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think too. So speaking of the cast, I mean, you have Colin Farrell. You get Colin Farrell like on the way up. You know, like he's been around, but I'm just saying like he's going to become a much bigger star as the years progress. You get Katie Holmes right at the tail end of the run of Dawson's Creek, so it's still, I believe, still on the air. I think it was on the air till 2004, I want to say, 2003, 2004, somewhere in there. So you get her mid-run. Again, very smart casting and very smart way of shooting her. You feel like she's in the movie a lot, but actually she's not in the movie a lot.
And like her role calls for someone like that at that time.
Yep.
You know? And it's every casting decision is
and then the one person that we haven't mentioned is who, I mean, he's
awesome in everything.
Like so great and like what made me think of him again was, and maybe it's a movie we might actually, it could fit into the show at some point, is in Panic Room. Yeah, he's so great in Panic Room.
Yeah,
but of course I'm talking about
Forrest
Whitaker. And that like there's something about him in this role, like you feel like he knows exactly what kind of movie he's in. However, he's also just taking it very seriously. It's just a very believable, like kind of grounded performance in a movie that's kind of absurd.
But it's awesome because you still get a little bit of like him. There's the hostage negotiating cop who comes in, and they have like the typical policeman in the movie thing where he's like, "This is my case, get out of here,
get out of here." Yeah, he just brings like this different presence to the movie once he shows up, and he's kind of the only guy that's on Colin Farrell's side. Like he knows something else is going on.
He's smart. He's a smart cop.
Yeah,
actually, it's still. I will say he knows something's off, but he's still like. Not really on his side until
he's erring on the side of caution for sure, but he knows something's up with Colin Farrell.
Yeah, well, I think it really becomes like, because he's still not even fully convinced, but when his wife gives the phone to him,
yes, of course,
another phone, there's a couple phones in this movie.
There is.
But like I still feel like he wasn't fully. He didn't really know anything was wrong. He felt still more against him until that moment, and then they start having their like code speak kind of thing going on.
Relating to Forrest Whitaker's character, because you've written scripts before. I've written scripts before. We've made movies. That there's sometimes where you get into an area of the script and you've just missed something,
Yeah.
And this is what this is another thought I had while watching this film, because I hadn't really put this together until this watch. Okay, is like I could see a scenario hypothetically where the script was written, everything was like the writer's super happy with it, and maybe it gets on the blacklist or something. But he's reading it, and then someone, maybe they're doing like coverage on it or something. Someone points out something, which is, how is Colin Farrell and Forrest Whitaker gonna speak to each other if he's in the phone booth?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, it could be that the writer figured this out early, right? But it also is something that until you're making the movie, you may not have really thought about logistically. So it could be in that stage. There's also a scenario in which it was never talked about until they started shooting the movie. And again, when you run into these like logistical problems of like, how is this even going to work? How is this going to make sense? And they solve it so perfectly where you don't even know that they're solving a problem.
Yeah.
Which is, there's a scene, which is very funny, where initially when Colin Farrell gets into the booth, he runs into a couple of sex workers.
Yeah.
Right?
And their lovely pimp.
The lovely pimp comes over, and at one point he gets so angry he smashes the window.
Yes.
And it like plays, you're like, oh, that guy's crazy or whatever. And then like maybe 20, 25 minutes later, Forrest Whitaker and him and Colin Farrell are having this conversation at the phone booth, and you're like, oh, that's they can communicate with each other because the window's broken. Now they can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like one of those like problem solving things
and
that
it
like
gets him down there in the first place.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it does a lot of the heavy work in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying though. Like, you could still have that whole interaction without him breaking the window.
Yeah.
And him dying and getting the police down there, and then you can see it in the script where like they don't mention it and they're having this conversation and they go to shoot it and they're like, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense.
It has to be broken.
Yeah, because
like, we have to turn the phone booth so the door is open.
The door's open, which then it's like, okay, well that doesn't make sense. And
yeah, because why would the door
open to the street?
Yeah,
and it's like, and then what are they having a conversation where?
Yeah,
right. Like that's not going to make any sense. So that was another thing. Like this movie is full of those little clever things where like it is a very obvious like plot device, like they're solving a problem.
Yeah.
But the way that they write it into the scene and how it's like it takes a couple of watches to pick up something like that.
And it helps build the suspense, or like not suspense, but like the energy of the movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like things heat up really quick, things get intense. There's violence already.
Yeah.
There's people pounding on the phone booth, and it gets you already in the state of like, hey, this movie's going to be a little intense. You know?
Well, and that's a really, like, again, in terms of writing, like you couldn't just have all of a sudden, again, it's one of those problems that you would have to, like, once you've thought of the premise, it's like, okay, well, if he walks into the phone booth, picks up the phone, and it's the killer, the cops aren't just going to show up there.
Yeah.
There needs to be this rise of action and something. There has to be an altercation or something they have to be tipped off that something's going to happen. Plus, on top of that, then you get an actual, like, it legitimizes Sutherland's like villain if he's like willing to like pull the trigger on somebody.
Yeah.
Right. And it also shows the Colin Farrell character, like even like Kiefer Sutherland says it in the voiceover, right? Like he's like, look at all the people rushing, like
they're
like,
all
like no one cares, right?
Yeah.
So it does all of these really smart things, and then it takes the movie up to another level once the cops come. It becomes a standoff type film, right? And so I wanted to point out a couple of these like smaller details that I kind of picked up on this rewatch where I just kind of watched the movie, not passively, but just as like a fan.
Yeah.
But then when you're doing like, okay, we have to talk about it for an hour, all of a sudden you start noticing like all of these other like little details, and like with a movie that is sick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Typically, if a movie is sick, it's going to have a bunch of these things that are like fun to talk about, and that can, I don't know, that just kind of stood out to me on this rewatch, right?
Yeah.
How did you rewatch it? Was it DVD?
DVD.
Yeah, me too.
It's my well-loved DVD.
What do you think about that?
That menu?
That menu music.
It's so good. The menu is like, for those of you who don't have a DVD copy of Phone Booth,
get one at your local thrift shop.
Yeah,
for like
there's like 5 of them there. I guarantee it.
I saw one today actually.
Every time I go to a thrift store, I see it. The menu is about maybe generously 7 seconds long, and it's a loop, and it's Kiefer Sutherland saying like 3 lines, and then it's like, don't hang up that phone. Just stuff like that, like really, really cheeky, like, oh, in case you didn't know, this movie's about this.
Yeah.
And then like when you click play, it does like the zoom in, and like I think a bullet hits the glass, and then he says something else, and then it starts the movie. I do want to say before I had this thought. Yeah. Before we go to commercial.
Yes.
If this wasn't an incoming call, okay? If it's an outgoing call, how much do you think he has to pay for this phone call?
Well, you could do the math, right?
Like, I know.
So well, he does hang up the phone once, right? Mm-hmm. And then he calls back.
Yeah.
So if you're roughly 71 minutes, that's with credits. So we'll say like 3-minute credit sequence, we'll say at the end, right?
81 minutes.
So yeah, but 81, but 9 minutes he's not in the thing. So that's 71, 72 minutes, we'll say, right?
Sure.
And then we'll say like a 3-minute credit sequence.
Why don't we say 65 minutes, a clean number?
I mean, 60, and then the end 65. Let's say 60.
Okay.
Let's say 60 minutes.
An hour phone call in the phone booth.
phone in 2002.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's 60.
Would have been what? It would have been a quarter for a minute?
A minute?
So it would have been... Actually, that's not that bad. That's not that expensive of a phone call.
Well, you'd have to do, 25 times 60, right? Which is what, $15. I mean, I guess, is it long distance, though? No,
it would have across the street.
Yeah, it's across the street. So we'd have to do... So now we're Googling another thing.
Yes, this is your...
How much is... We'll say, let's round it to $20.
Okay.
$20.
2002 money to today.
To money.
Dude, this is such a good episode.
Yeah.
We're just Googling for how...
$36.16.
That's not bad. That's not that bad.
Yeah, that's about like half a phone bill for one phone call, though.
I know, but like for, a phone booth, it's normally like you're paying over way more than you should for a phone call anyway.
It's true.
So I was like,
$36 in quarters.
Yeah, it's like imagine the movie.
What is that 70? What is that 72? 140? That's like 150 quarters roughly.
Now imagine the movie is. Like he sees a number on the phone and he calls it and then he can't hang up, but he has to keep like feeding the meter and just people are walking by. You got a quarter? I'm gonna get shot if I don't have a quarter right now.
Give me a quarter.
Give me like $5 in quarters right now.
Yeah. Where else are you gonna get this kind of content?
Yeah,
Yeah. Figuring out how much
the alternate phone booth 2.
Yeah,
we're on it.
I'd buy that for a quarter.
Yeah,
is the tagline. Okay.
I was thinking collect call or something.
Phone booth, phone booth 2, collect call. Okay, let's cut to commercial. We'll be right back with more of our thoughts of the 2002 Joel Schumacher movie Phone Booth. Welcome back to Sick Flicks. I'm Mike.
I'm Dalton.
And you're listening to our phone booth episode. This is the second half of it, which we're going to get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty of this amazing 2002 Joel Schumacher
epic
thriller drama action movie.
Yeah.
Starring Colin Farrell, Forrest Whitaker, Katie Holmes, Kiefer Sutherland as the villain. Speaking of villains.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit.
Okay.
But if you can, because this is a great version of a thing that I love in movies, which is bad guys getting away.
Oh,
so off the dome, and anything come to mind that we are like, oh, that was so sick?
Is it it's getting away or like winning?
Either or.
Okay. Well, we talked about, they're fresh in my head because we were talking about them. Usual Suspects.
Usual Suspects is like really high on my list.
7, he wins.
He does win.
Doesn't get away though. Silence of the Lambs.
Great one.
Yeah.
He kind of wins.
He wins and gets away.
Yep.
Those are the big ones off the dome. What about you?
I mean, those I hadn't thought of 7 as like win, but he absolutely wins.
Yeah.
I mean, the 2 that I had were Silence of the Lambs and Usual Suspects. Why bring that up? Obviously, so and this
one. Yeah, and this one.
I love when bad guys win or get away. I think it's so awesome. I don't know if you were like this, but as a kid watching movies, I always rooted for the villain.
I got a big one.
Yeah,
dude, Empire Strikes Back.
Sure,
the villains win.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean,
it's a different feeling.
It's a different because they win in one respect and then they lose in another respect, right?
Well, they lose just in the next movie, but in that movie they win.
That's true. Yeah, it's pretty depressing actually the way that movie ends. Yeah. But
sorry, I just wanted. It popped into my head. Where I'm like, what movies do the villains win? I was like, I mean, Empire Strikes Back. So
that's one where for me, I never rooted for Luke. Ever.
Yeah.
I always rooted for
Vader.
Yeah.
Explains a lot.
But in a lot of movies, the villains are like
way cooler than the hero.
So cool, right?
Yeah.
And famously, the Joker is like one of these like villains that everyone wants to play, and when someone but there's
you like him better than Batman.
100%. He's way more interesting.
It's way more interesting.
But this movie is such a great example of, and it kind of mirrors the Silence of the Lambs in some way, the walk away.
Yeah. And do you remember in Silence of the Lambs, he's on a payphone?
He is on a payphone trying to call home.
Yeah.
All of my friends. All
right, settle down.
What? You're not a Maroon 5
I am not. No, I am not.
Oh, it's too bad. No, I'm not either. That song is embedded into my brain, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, I just love movies where villains win or get away.
Walk away.
And this is a great example of that. And they don't really, let's get into this. So there's two, I would say, moments where there's a twist of some kind, right? The first comes when you alluded to it earlier in the episode, but the rubber bullets moment.
Yes.
So what happens is they end up taking out Colin Farrell, or you think they have.
Yeah.
But he's actually,
you think Kiefer got him.
That's
but
right.
The police got him.
But the police got him, but they actually didn't shoot him. They used they shot him, but they used the rubber bullet. So that's a nice little like climax moment, and it's almost like the Platoon shot of him like getting, And okay, so that goes down. Then you have a really interesting twist in the movie and it's probably the most interesting one. At the beginning of the movie, a pizza delivery at the beginning of the movie when Colin Farrell first makes because he's going in the phone booth to make a call. Yeah. By the way.
Yeah.
So he goes into the phone booth to make a call, and this pizza delivery guy keeps bothering him to like this pizza's been paid for, blah blah blah, and he's kind of.
What am I gonna do with it?
Yeah, he's like, and then if you fast forward right to the end of the movie. They figure out where the phone calls are coming from, or they think they have, and it's almost again a Silence of the Lambs moment where they're rushing up the stairs and it's cutting between things. And they rush up there, and they're like, "Oh, he slit his own throat," right? Mm-hmm. So the guy but you don't see his face, right? So you're like, "Who was he? Like, where is Kiefer? We're never gonna see Kiefer. Like, what's going on here, right?" And they reveal who they pulled out of that apartment, and it was the pizza delivery guy. Mm-hmm. So what's interesting is that everyone, including Colin Farrell, is like, that was the guy.
Yep.
We're like, well, the movie's telling us it's the guy. Mm-hmm. We know what Kiefer Sutherland looks like. We've never seen his character in the movie, but that's definitely not Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
So did they just stunt cast his voice? Like, was there a voice change thing? Mm-hmm. Maybe it was a Scream type. He had one of those Scream things, from the Scream movie, voice modulators. and so you're like, it's interesting because it's a twist to the audience, but it's like a half twist, like
it's like because we know,
but you're like
the
characters don't, and you're like you're pretty sure that it's going to be Kiefer in some way, shape, or form because the movie's not over yet, but it's really close. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, but the movie's telling me it's this way, so maybe it is that way.
Yeah.
And then they reveal that it is
Kiefer.
It is Kiefer, and that he's got like the case, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny too because they give him glasses, which
I know.
Yeah.
It's
like, ooh,
I was on that too. Yeah.
Oh, does that mean he's like some sort of intelligent guy? Yeah. Like, because that's what they kind of make him out.
Yeah,
to seem,
some
right?
sort of smart aleck.
Yeah. So I again, like, this is it's a really smart way of putting those like kind of quote unquote twists in the story, like towards the end of the film as a climax, right? The movie is definitely building. It has like a built-in climax, right? Whereas like it has to come to a head, right? And like, are they going to land the plane with this movie?
Yeah.
And with the ending, and to me, they absolutely did, because you feel there is a character movement with Colin Farrell, right? Mm-hmm. And you feel satisfied with the film, even though like the villain gets away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just think that, with those
setting up phone booth 2, collect call.
Written by Dalton Pike.
Yes, yes.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
Tubi. Tubi exclusive, Phone Booth 2.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Come on. That's a Tubi exclusive. I wanted to ask...
There might be like a straight-to-DVD Phone Booth sequel.
I don't think there is. We could
there
Google
could be.
We've
Googled a lot. Might
as well.
If you make your point, I'll Google it.
Well, here was my. So I don't really have an answer for this, but I wrote it down in my notes, and I was like, okay, well, if we have time in the second half, I'll ask you this, right?
Yes.
And we haven't talked about him, but I do want to talk about him before the end of this episode, but
there is no Phone Booth 2, but there was a remake.
A remake?
Yeah.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah, but I think it's like a different country.
Oh, okay, got you. I do want to talk about Joel Schumacher a little bit and kind of dive into him a little bit before the end of this episode.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you this question, and I'm bringing it up now because, like I said, I wrote it down to be like, hey, if we have time in the second half, I'll bring it up and see what you think. And I don't have an answer necessarily, so I thought we could talk through it.
Okay.
So this movie cannot be made today, right? It's impossible for Phone Booth to be made in 2026.
Yeah, because there's no phone booth.
And like the
reference have to be set in England, I guess.
But even still, like the reference points for what they're doing is just so far removed. No one would know what's going on.
You can just like hold that button on your phone and call the police.
Right. Yeah. So what is the equivalent? Like if we were to make Phone Booth now, what's the equivalent?
Like
what's a 2026
like you have
equivalent?
To stay there, I'll kill you kind of thing.
Like what would...
That's tough.
I know, right? And because here's the thing, right? Like you could
It's got to be location based, right?
Right. See, the thing where my head went immediately, and they've kind of done it in a couple of different horror spaces, is like the social media stuff, right? So there's a couple of films that have done the whole film is on like your computer.
You went like
you know
technology,
what I mean?
like the call itself. I went location. I was thinking like trapped in an elevator kind of thing, but not that because it's.
Well, they did. Shyamalan.
They've also done.
Yeah,
I know.
Devil,
yeah.
Which is actually not a bad movie.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's what I was like. So what if you get a call here and someone's like you can't leave. Or like, don't hang up the phone. Like, what are you doing?
I'll just walk around. I was walking to the police station with my cell phone.
That, or like, you could just message someone, hey, like
yeah,
while you just put it on speaker and then just be like, hey,
phone booth, but it's FaceTime, so he can see you.
Like, so you can see. But then you might as well just be. Then it would just be at the house.
Yeah.
With like, and you couldn't leave the house. But then,
well, you know what? They did like When a Stranger Calls kind of thing.
I love When a Stranger, the remake. I love the remake.
Yeah, but like,
so
you know what I
much.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You could go that angle. You could still have a phone.
Yeah.
If someone still has a landline. The
phone plays a pretty big part in When a Stranger Calls too. That's why it's like, the remake was like 06, 07. You can't really like, and there was a cell phone, but there's also landlines in that movie. That's tough, right? Because
I think it's like, I think nowadays you just make the movie, but like as a period thing,
as a period piece.
Yeah,
interesting,
right? Like,
because
you don't have that anymore.
Or do you like just fast forward it to 20 years in the future and make up some ridiculous situation?
Some pod you can't escape.
That's right. Just something insane that you can't.
You're in one of those Minority Report cars. Or
the demolition car.
Fifth Element kind of car. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't open the door to the car or you will get shot.
It brought up this interesting...
A car is not a bad one.
Car's not a bad one.
You can't leave the car. Because you can be on your cell phone, but like...
It's true. There's a Tom Hardy movie where he's in his car the whole time. Lock.
That's a good movie.
It's actually not bad.
Yeah.
It just got me on thinking about like these kind of... I mean, it's been talked about on... I know because I've listened to them. Different, people that have much more intelligently broken things down than we do.
Yeah.
But the idea of, it's not about necessarily content that can't be made now, which is like the surface level dumb thing to say.
Yeah.
You can make anything. In fact, there's way more freedom now in the last 10 years than there was, because we could just think of an idea and go film it, and it would be like in 4K, and like we could put it out and people could watch it. So you can literally do anything. However, what you are limited with certain things because we have all these things that we have to write around.
There's a lot of solutions.
There's a lot of
modern day problems,
right? And that kind of got me thinking about that. And,
the only way you can do it is like character's phone gets broken at the beginning of the movie,
and they don't have a phone.
Phone,
which again, bringing back to horror films is like one of those like staples. It's like, oh, you don't have any. You don't have any service or the cell phone.
Which is like, when's the last time you haven't had service?
You
know what I mean?
I absolutely like that's so. I guess the you would have to go to a remote location where like that's not.
Yeah, but I got 5G plus. I get it everywhere, bro. I get it everywhere.
Yeah, got 5G plus as well.
Our next sponsor, Rogers. Rogers and Doobie present Sick Flicks.
Dude, how sick would that be?
That would be sick. Get us tickies to the Blue Jays.
To the Blue Jays games? Yeah. Come on, get our own little booth up there.
Yeah, exactly. Sick Flicks broadcast.
I would take a Rogers sponsorship. I mean, we've said it before. We'd take any sponsorship.
Any sponsorship at all.
Absolutely.
Some fertilizer company. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Toss us $20. We'll put your name on it.
5Gs. Putting chips in your brains.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're a company that's putting chips in people's brains,
put chips in our brains, and we'll
shout you out. We'll shout you out, and you can sponsor us. Yeah. We're totally cool with that.
Yeah. All right, we don't have much longer left, so you want to get into. Let's start with sickest line.
Sickest line.
This one was tricky.
Yeah,
because it's not like it's very like just to the point.
Yeah.
I have a couple.
I sent you one of my favorite ones. I actually filmed it and then sent it to you, but I can't say it on air.
It's a radio episode.
Yeah. That would be up there for me.
I like when he says like, who are you talking to? He goes, my psychiatrist.
Right.
And he goes, that's good. I should have thought of that.
Yeah, that's great.
I also love the Kiefer as the voiceover where he says, a ringing phone must be answered.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll just use it as not maybe one specific line, but I like a lot of what the streetwalkers are yelling at him and stuff like that, and their like dialogue back and forth. I think is quite funny.
I like the code speak between Whitaker and Farrell.
Yes,
where it's like they're talking without talking.
That's right. I also like when he's. when he's doing his agent thing at the beginning and he's like calling all these different people and he's like, no, don't pick up the phone, and like he's like doing this whole thing. Give me this person.
Give me this person.
He's like setting up the thing, and then he's like they walk past that whole like, again, not a specific line, but like the way that they're trying to set up that it's New York and he's this
huge
dill,
agent,
dill hole that like he's kind of just a shallow human being, right?
Yeah.
But those are a couple of good lines. Was sickest scene? I love the ending.
It's for me the sickest scene was when he grabs the gun, he walks out and he's like screaming, and the camera does like the zoom in and out, going around, and then he gets shot. Yeah, and I'm like. Perfect.
That to like the reveal of Kiefer as I love the last little like dialogue bit between him and Kiefer. Mm-hmm. I think that's great. I like I just mentioned it, I like the beginning, like the whole lead up to him. Like when it starts on the ground and it's just him and his assistant leading up to the phone booth, I think it's very rewatchable and funny and interesting.
I want to say I put this in my, not this watch, but my previous Letterboxd review, and I kind of mentioned it earlier in the episode, but I want to like just specifically mention this. It is absolutely insane to me that 80% of this movie takes place in a phone booth in New York. Yet it both begins and ends in outer space.
In space, dude.
Like, that's a choice.
It is a choice.
And it's awesome.
I honestly think, I mean, I mentioned it to you, but I just got like Enemy at the State.
Yeah,
like Tony Scott vibes. Yeah. Not with the movie itself.
No, but I know what you.
But even the way the movie looks and some of the editing,
some
choices
of the camera
and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very Tony Scott coded to me. And
he's sweaty and bloody the whole time. So
that's right.
Yeah.
So, but definitely starting it in space and ending it in space is like such a Tony Scott thing to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's those are great choices.
It cracks me up.
Absolutely, it's so good. Yeah, I do like since we're on the director portion of the film. We're talking about the way that the film was directed. Schumacher. What's your relationship with Schumacher? Is it complicated? Is it straightforward?
Not really. I like Schumacher.
Yeah.
When I was younger, my Batman movie was the Schumacher one because it was the one I had on VHS.
Well, which one?
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, you did.
Batman and Robin.
Okay. Yeah.
And
because he also did Batman Forever too, right?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he did both. Do we have to Google that?
Oh my God! We'll say he did.
I'm googling.
It's entirely possible he did.
I'm 99.9%.
Not a big Batman fan personally, so I cannot attest to whether Schumacher did or did not direct multiple Batman
I'm pretty
movies.
sure he did 2 of them. Yep, he did.
Okay.
Yep.
Batman and Robin was the one, which is also explains a lot of my taste in movies. I really like that one. But Schumacher's got quite a few bangers. A movie of his that I absolutely love is Falling Down.
Falling Down is unbelievable.
It's an unreal movie. We on this show love Michael Douglas.
Yes.
And like everything that happens in that movie.
Another great premise film.
Yeah.
Right?
He's good at that.
Of course, it's a staple at the Highland where we work, but Lost Boys.
Lost Boys.
Is,
I'm not a Lost Boys guy.
I like Lost Boys a lot.
Yeah.
The original,
you've heard my thoughts on Lost Boys.
Yeah. The original Flatliners.
Yeah, Flatliners is sick.
Which is quite good. You can see he's worked with Kiefer a couple of times. Yeah. You mentioned Falling Down. The Client.
The Client is good. Yeah.
Fantastic. Time to Kill, complicated but awesome.
I wanted to say that I could see that at one point in the future, possibly making it on the show.
Yep, A Time to Kill.
Time to Kill. Yeah.
One that will definitely make it on the show. One of my favorites. 8mm. 8mm. We have Phone Booth, of course, and then a couple of late ones that there's 3 later. I'll say later. Post Phone Booth that I wanted to mention because these are films that you may not think Schumacher directed, and you may not even think about them they're not in the zeitgeist, right?
Sure.
The Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Isn't that crazy that he made that?
Yeah, but it's very Schumacher. Like
it is. No, 100%. But it's just like. If you're like, oh yeah, he made 8mm Phone and Phantom of the Opera.
Yes. Which gave us Gerard Butler, right?
Gerard Butler.
I really like that version of the Phantom of the Opera. I think it's great. A movie that I quite enjoy, and I rewatched not too long ago, actually, The Number 23.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan.
I like The Number 23.
Yeah.
It's
I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember liking it, though.
It's not a perfect movie. There is like an unrated or director's cut version. It's with Jim Carrey. He gets obsessed with The Number 23. It's quite good. And one of his his last movie, I'm just looking at it right now because I wanted to make sure I got it right. His last film that he made before he passed was a movie called Trespass with Nicolas Cage and Nicole Kidman. And this is a little bit larger of a movie than Phone Booth, but same
energy,
same vibe of a limited space. Yeah. So Nicolas Cage plays a version of a Colin Farrell type character, and they live in this lush house that's getting like remodeled, and Nicolas Cage and Kidman have this kid. The kid runs off and sneaks out to a party. These robbers come in and take them hostage, trespass, if you will, because he's supposed to have all these diamonds and money in his house. And the story unfolds that he actually is kind of lying about everything. He's kind of a sleaze bag. But it all kind of unravels in this hostage type situation, right? And I really like that movie. I think it's
I've
really
seen it.
Yeah, I think it's really underrated. So
I don't remember last time I watched it, but I should probably run that one back.
You should. It's very similar to Phone Booth in the sense of it has a little bit maybe not as high energy necessarily as Phone Booth, but same kind of thing. Rainy day on a Sunday afternoon, you need something nice and easy to swallow. Yeah, and you're just gonna have a fun time watching it.
Yeah,
toss that in. It's so much fun. And yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Schumacher. I know a lot of people would say like his career kind of does this, right, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Like he'll have some people would consider Lost Boys as like one of the all-time classics.
Not me.
Yeah, I know. I said some people.
I know. I just had to throw it out.
You know, and you have like his little 90s run there, right, of these films. But then really, to me, where he shines is in these like smaller type thriller films like Falling Down and Phone Booth and Trespass, and these type of films where they're like secluded or they're trapped in a space, and you know he's really great at like unfolding like a story in a way that's
he likes
interesting.
the cornered animal sort of
he does
feel like Falling Down is like a societal cornering of a man who then like explodes because of it, but yeah, that's it feels like his shtick, like examining people when there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah, and I like a lot of his choices for his leading men, like Colin Farrell and Michael Douglas and Nicolas Cage, and a couple of times, and you know he always chooses like really interesting people. Like, and then you start looking at those people, like Colin Farrell is like a really interesting dude. Like that dude is like he's had an interesting life. You know, Nicolas Cage, of course, famously very interesting. Michael Douglas. Like these are all very interesting human beings. You know, and they're big are big movie stars, but they're really interesting people too. Like,
I would say like one of them is still a big movie star, but
but yeah, I wanted to spend a few minutes on Schumacher and also say like he will come up again.
He'll come up again
on
for
this
sure.
On this show. I could see us doing. I could see us doing Falling Down. I could see us doing A Time to Kill. I could see us doing.
It's probably gonna be 8mm.
8mm next for sure. Yeah. But this, I think this was a great like first choice, like because it's definitely underrated, underseen.
It's a very sick flicks kind of movie.
I was gonna ask you, so at the end of the day, we said it was sick. Do we still think it's sick?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I thought it was sick since I was 10 years old, and that's not changing anytime soon.
That's awesome. Have you do you recommend this to people like that? You know, when it comes up, yeah,
I do, and like not a ton of them watch it.
Sure,
as it goes with every movie I recommend. But the few people who do are just like, hell yeah, that movie was awesome.
Yeah,
and like I said, I get the same reaction when you bring it up to people who have seen it before. So like the people who seek it out are kind of the people it's meant for.
Yep.
And so if it sounds like something that's up your alley, I think you will love it. Yeah. It's hard not to, in my opinion.
Yep.
What about you?
I mean, yeah, I recently we're on a set. Well, you were on the set too. We're now in post-production on this movie. Dalton's doing some work on post-production. I'm doing some work in post-production on this film, and we actually shot it 12 months and a bit ago. And Dalton's actually in it as well. I produced it. It's a local kid, regular at the Highland, right? Shout out Evan.
Yep.
And you know how things go on set. You know, long days, you know, you start chatting to people, and this is one of the films I brought up to and said like, oh, like, have you guys seen this? You know, and we started chatting about Phone Booth because I was like, this movie's sick. You know, trying to talk about sick flicks. You know, like
always
which flicks are sick. And I was like, this is underrated. This is underseen. You know. I thought just as a quick way, and then we're gonna wrap it up here in a minute or so.
Yeah.
I don't remember if you have it, but I have a underrated, underseen list on Letterboxd.
I do not.
Okay, so I just wanted to just kind of, and maybe while I list off a couple of my favorites that I thought I would bring up, that maybe you could think of a couple that you think are underrated and underseen.
Yeah.
You know. Cause,
I mean, I will say one of them is on our next episode. I think The Fan is underappreciated, underseen.
Interesting. One that we talked about, which it's not on my list, but one that we've talked about is When a Stranger Calls, the remake. So a couple I just wanted to mention. Mr. Brooks is incredibly underrated to me. Kevin Costner's in that movie,
Yep.
and he played the last time he kind of played a villain. He actually tried to get the movie like buried. It's very hard to find. Autofocus is very underrated. Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon, extremely underrated. Rudderless, I love. Fear, Anxiety, Depression, the first Todd Solondz movie I love. It's really good. I actually do have Trespass on here, and a movie called They Came Together, which is like sort of a rom-com satire that's really, really funny. So those are just a couple I thought I'd just quickly mention, and because I feel like Phone Booth just fits into the underrated and underseen.
I think another one, Under the Silver Lake, we talk about it a lot.
Absolutely. Both underrated and underseen. Absolutely, it is. Yeah.
On that note, I do want to one last thing.
Yes. For it.
If anyone listening is not following us on Instagram,
please do.
It is at SickFlixPod on Instagram.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
And you can find out when we post episodes, what we're talking about, upcoming stuff.
Yep.
And you can message us.
You can message us and tell us that our takes are bad.
Yeah,
and,
you hate us.
And you hate us and stuff.
We
boo
love
us.
It. We love it.
You know, we're going to be on stage at the Highland in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, come out and boo us.
Dalton's dream is to get booed on stage.
Yes.
So it's a call to action to anyone in the local London area.
Please boo me.
But this has been so much fun to talk about Phone Booth and to kind of dissect what's sick about this movie. Mm-hmm. So I think that wraps us up, right?
It does.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for listening. If you're listening on Radio Western 94.9, thank you so much. And if you're listening on Spotify or any of the other platforms is what I meant to say. Thank you so much for downloading and listening and streaming and all that stuff. We really appreciate it. We will see you next month. I've been Mike.
I've been Dalton.
And we'll see you later.